Right, I'm just waiting to make sure that we're live. Turn that off. All right, I'm just waiting for it to come up on the actual YouTube page, and then we'll be good to go, I think, hopefully. Here it comes. Okay, so we are live. We are here. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Elise, and you are, I guess, in the Moonlit Magic for the full moon in Aquarius. This is our second episode. And hi, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to share this energy with you. Welcome to our slumber party. This is our, again, second episode. Last month, we just thought we'd try something out, and it went okay, I think, right?
Yeah.
This is Nikki, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself. She is my co-founder of Moonlit Magic, my partner, and we're celebrating 6 months of Moonlit Magic actually as well, and we're going to tell you about that later. But let her introduce herself really quick.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I started the Moonlit Living Moon Journal, which is kind of what got all these things rolling. And then from the Moon Journal, I've recently created a subscription box, and it ties everything together, and you'll learn a little bit about that today throughout this workshop. And you'll get to do some of the stuff that's in it for free, basically, in the workshop.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really good one, way better than last time. Me and Nikki hung out. We chatted for like a really, really long time. We didn't really have a huge plan last time, so we're a little bit more organized this time, and we have a little bit, I don't know, more, I don't say scripted layout, but a little bit more cohesive layout this time. And we brought on a special guest. This is Amanda, and she is the founder of something really cool, and I'll just let her tell you about it so I don't spoil it.
Hey, all right, so I am Amanda, and I created a platform, or it was a marketplace that transformed into a platform. Now you have so much more features than just a marketplace, but it is created specifically for the witchy, the pagan, and the alternative artisans that feel like they cannot showcase their products to the full potential on other platforms because of terms and conditions, or just because they are banned, semi-shadow banned, and stuff like that.
So we're really excited to have Amanda here with us because she kind of inspired this whole thing. We thought, let's bring on somebody else and collaborate. And then she started with this cool idea about our space, and it just came together really beautifully. And we have a lot to share about this coming up tonight. So I would just want to first say, before I forget, if you do want a oracle card for humanity reading for yourself or pull, just put a little, a little ball or whatever, a crystal ball or something like that in the comments, or put your hand up. So do that now early on. I'll remind you a few times as we go through, and then it's near the end when we're going to do individual little card pulls. So you're going to have to stick around and let us know that you're still here, because if you're not here, we're not going to pull it. So hopefully you will hang out to do that later on. So just remember to let us know that you want one so we can keep track. So as I mentioned, I'm Elise. I am the co-founder of Moonlit Magic. And if you noticed on the YouTube channel, we just made that transition as well, just to make things easier to understand. So, you know, from Facebook to hear how it goes back and forth. And we're here every new and full moon sharing different stuff. And this channel specifically was inspired by this partnership. I started it, but I didn't have a real clear focus. And when Nikki and I reconnected, she had just put out a journal, a moon journal that she had dreamed of creating. And it was something that just inspired me to start kind of tracking in a different way. I wasn't much for sitting down and consistent routine, but I was using it and starting to align with the moon cycles for my own card spreads, my own clarity rituals. And I began to actually find some consistency for the first time ever, aligning myself with the new and full moon and feeling that energy. And that came from reconnecting here. So her journal inspired the spread that we do here every new and full moon. And this whole thing has been kind of unfolding in ways that I didn't really plan. And that's kind of what we're getting into. We want to talk about right now, how important it is to be clear about what you want 6 months from now, or a few years from now, or at least to be stepping on the path that makes you feel clear or satisfied or proud of where you're going, the steps you're taking in your progress. And we were talking about this alternative form of journaling and tracking because I struggle with writing things down consistently. But Nikki has been journaling for how many years?
At least a decade.
I mean, more than that, though.
Forever, but
she's scripted because so our last workshop that we did, she did a scripting workshop. And so if you really want to get into that, check it out. But she was doing this kind of stuff like when she was a teenager, right?
Yeah. And then the one that I kind of talked about mostly in the last video was in 2013. And then within the time from 2013 of doing that to now, I can look back and see the things that actually happened that were scripted out.
Right. And she sent us some really, really vivid examples of that today, even more than we expected. But we're going to share those in just a second. But the point of it being, why keep track? Because I didn't. Okay. I just started. And with these actual, there's an archive that I have on this channel of all the layouts that we've done. It's a very specific layout that I do at every full and new moon, and it's an oracle layout. And the cards, the decks that are used are guided by the energy that I feel from that moon cycle or whatever. But there's a whole archive and a whole list, and we've been doing this for 6 months now. And without realizing it, I was tracking this last 6 months, my own intentions, and really planting that in a different way than Nikki does. But I wasn't paying attention before that. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew I was moving in a direction that I liked, but I didn't have the proof to show me my progress as I was moving forward. So if you think about your life right now and how you feel about it, truly how you feel about your progress and moving in a direction that makes you feel good in every area of your life, how satisfied do you feel right now? Because what you're planning right now is what's unfolding 6 months from now. And we're gonna talk about, at this point, I'm gonna stop rambling on, and Nikki and Amanda are gonna share, mostly Nikki, because she's got some really wild examples of why we're here right now that I couldn't have predicted. And she was they were, I want to say freaking me out, but they were the examples of the energy of intention that none of us even realized has been coming together on a different level all this time. When we started this thing last month, it was just face fears. Okay. It felt like a necessary step, right? But it wasn't, we didn't really know why right now, and what it was going to be about. And at this point, I want Nikki to share first a little bit about some intentions that she planted for us all. And she didn't even mean it at the time this way necessarily, but the way it's written actually unfolded perfectly into what we're doing right now, but in a different way and better, right? I think better.
Right. Yeah.
I'm being arrogant. It's better than, it was last time. But anyway, so I want her to share now, because again, I want to tell you, we're celebrating this 6 months, and this is she taught me this, that what you plant at a new moon 6 months later, is kind of manifesting or unfolding at that corresponding full moon. And we were talking about looking back too, and that's why we're doing this. We're talking about looking back and seeing what's manifested up to this point. And we're not talking about manifested in some like wild way. It's real and it's wild. And
yeah. So
tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay. So with the moon journal, which is the type of journaling that I do, and I wrote a journal out that's going to be available to everybody soon. Every new moon, you set your intentions, and then throughout the cycle, there's different prompts for every phase. When you get to the full moon, you reflect back. So that's kind of where the consistency comes in, because every 6 months you're checking back into what you did and what your intentions were, so you can adjust if you need to or see how your progress is going. So we are approaching the Aquarius full moon coming up. So that means now we would go back and look at the new moon in Aquarius. And that was February 10th to February 12th. And at that time in my journal, some of the specific things that I wrote down for my new moon intentions were my show is in process/progress. Elise is a regular. I wrote about the box of shadows, which is something I was planning with Amanda. And just about, I wrote things about doing this without knowing that's what it was. I wanted to have a show type thing on YouTube where I had people coming on and we talked about these type of things, but I didn't know it would unfold this way. But I knew I wanted Elise to be a part of it, as we talked about in the last video. And now that is just going back 6 months. When I go back to the new moon in Aquarius from 2020, I specifically wrote partnerships, and then I put strategic alliance. And it says Faye home, Elise meditation, business, ready to have classes with Elise, and to know moves for the future. I specifically wrote these things thinking of them in a different way than how they unfolded, yet they unfolded more perfectly than I could have tried to make up myself.
And very specifically, and a year, like some of the things that you wrote were, we have been friends for a decade, over a decade, but it was a different type of friendship back then.
Yes.
It was much more partying sort of a friendship, we were a different stage of life back then. So we never connected on this level back then at all. And some of the stuff you wrote was, a year before we reconnected, or a year before you put your moon journal out at all.
Yeah, at that point.
Friends, and we've been in touch, but not,
Right. At the point that I had written in 2020 that we would be working together, I was doing workshops, and I intended that to be that I would come visit you and do workshops in your area.
Which you're still welcome to do.
Thank you. I'll be there too.
People would appreciate that because they're really cool. But so to see, we don't remember that. I don't remember it. I wasn't even part of it. So, but she doesn't remember really necessarily writing that. So imagine our surprise today, seeing this unfold that very vividly, especially the three of us together being in a strategic alliance. That's beyond anything that I could have predicted, because I, a couple months ago, said, no, I don't want to do a live stream. I don't know why my internet is so like spotty, but sorry about that if it is. So please let me know if at any point you can't hear me or something, because it's really clear on my actual like stream, but it doesn't seem to be as clear on
I can hear you.
Love.
Mhm.
But which I don't know. Anyway, guys. So we just want to clarify a little bit and just really anchor in why this is so important. Amanda was sharing a little bit about that too, like how your vision maybe came in to this.
Yeah, me and Nikki have been communicating for over a year now. Well,
Yeah,
possibly.
I think maybe like 2 or 3 years.
Crazy. But yeah, like we've just kind of been communicating and like talking about how we want to see the Fay Home kind of platform evolve and how we can work together. And it was very weird because we talked about doing these get-togethers and having guest speakers and all this stuff, and to see that she wrote it and it's come true, it's really, really weird but really good. It's really nice, and then it's nice to feel like you're a part of something too, and it's just really good.
And to see, and like, because we have so much self-doubt, especially about all of this, when we don't see it right away, it's so easy to feel like things aren't working out and to step back or to trust somebody else's vision rather than our own, trust our own gut about these certain things. So it's important to have the proof. And I know that I've shifted and gone down a path that's much more satisfying for myself, but I also struggle with a lot of self-doubt, not having some vivid awareness of what I've been planting all this time. And now if you go back into like these archives, you can see it. If you go back in and look at what we were planting 6 months ago when we started, because that's not just for me, that's for all of us. Those readings, now going back 6 months, have a whole new purpose, because we can see what were we anchoring 6 months ago and how has that carried forward. You can see that for yourself and then sit there and add to that in your own way. Journal about it, writing down, or add your own cards. Add it to your ritual so you can see it, so you can see that clarity for yourself and actually track it.
Right.
So you have that proof for yourself, so you stop going back and forth with the self-doubt, and your capabilities and your potential. So now, just before we shift into our first workshop and really get into what this is all about, you'll see kind of around each of us it's not just a background, we didn't just set a backdrop. We each made a really intentional space tonight, and on purpose, because that is what this is all about. This whole night is for us and for you, and just learning about it together and seeing how important this is, how it all comes together. We all brought objects that are meaningful to us so we can put our power into them. And Nikki and Amanda are both going to share different ways to place this intention into our space. Just before we start with that, though, I want to mention, if you want to comment, I think that you have to subscribe, because it's just the way to get trolls out. If you've been trying to, I don't really know how that works. If you're on or something, or if you come on later. And if you're enjoying this, please share it with friends. There will be a replay of these workshops, so you can come back and rewatch them, slow it down. Amanda's got some like step-by-step details that you might want to come back and rewatch. But you'll have to be here if you want an oracle card. So, you're going to miss out if you're not. All right, so I want to introduce Nikki. She is my co-founder again here at Moonlit Magic, and she is the author of the Moonlit Living Journal, as well as the creator of the upcoming Moonlit Living subscription box, which is that box of shadows that she manifested, that she was writing about. So all of her dreams are coming true right now, and thank you for being here. Yesterday was her birthday as well, so look at everything is just really coming together, and that was in one of her journal entries too.
Yeah, that was crazy. A surprise. I opened one of my journals looking for something else, and I opened to a page from 5 years ago that said, in 5 years I'll be 35 years old, and I turned 35 yesterday. And it went through some things that I again was happily surprised to see have come true.
Yeah, pretty and wild. Like the timing is really wild. So like this whole thing, she's got a really cool way to like help us anchor our dynamic energies, you know, and these triggers that we have. Like we go out into the world and things come at us, all of us, you know, we all have reactions and we don't always know how to feel in the moment. Like, and I think this is like a misunderstanding. This is what I'm coming to get. It is a total misunderstanding that we're supposed to know how we feel all the time. Like how does that make sense? Like that every time you step into something that you're supposed to understand how to react already in that moment, if you've never encountered it before or never felt that way.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know to slow down if you've always reacted back because you've always seen that or experienced that? How do you do something different and change unless you give yourself some space? You need space away from these things that come at you that make you feel reactive and out of control. So we all brought these really special objects to place intention into, to shift those triggers. So we are placing things around us that elicit a different reaction. So we might be reactive to something out in the world, but then I have this, and this reminds me to come back to my body and just to be present in this moment. And this, because I place intention into it, can elicit a different response from me just because I believe in it. So.
Right. So that exactly what you're saying. We always tend to think of like things trigger us and that is a negative thing, but we can kind of rewire and have intentional triggers. Like you can be triggered into something positive, right? So that's kind of what we're doing with the decor and setting the intentions. And if you're here, like it's likely that you're part of the same type of group of people as us, or like you're just kind of dipping your toes into it where, you know, we're intentionally evolving into the best version of ourselves. And as we recognize our own patterns, we become really invested in adjusting our behaviors so that the person we show up as reflects the person that we actually want to be, not just reacting without, you know, when you react, you're not necessarily doing what you would do if you thought it through. But it's not easy to always stick to it, and doing it takes a lot of practice, and the practice requires consistency. And as Elise said, that's not her strong point. It's definitely not mine either, but I've found consistency in doing the moon journaling. And that's where the sacred space decor comes in. So if you find yourself in a similar place and you frequently are like beating yourself up over how you react to things, then you can try this. When you set a goal or an intention for yourself, which is really good to do in your journal, you're going to also set that intention in a piece of decor that you see frequently. So then each time you notice it, you get that trigger and you'll think about, what is this reminding me to practice? And it's, you know, practicing slowing down and responding rather than reacting. Does that make sense, or, you know?
Yeah, like because to me, we get like kind of shame. I don't think there's anything wrong with having the responses, right? The reactions are natural. We all have those. But to actually act them out, we might do more damage than we want to do. And we get stuck in a cycle of like almost self-sabotage where we don't know how to get out of it. We don't know what to do because we're so reactive. It's like raw almost. And I think it has a lot to do with anxiety or trying to not be ashamed or not feel the ugly feelings because we think that we're not supposed to feel them, or we get, we feel ashamed. Those are the shameful feelings, the ones that tell us, the self-doubt voices and stuff. So
Yeah.
but it's not wrong. We're all dynamic beings. We have to be. And to think that it's wrong to be is why we have it all pent up inside, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do? But where do we go to express it in a healthy way? What do we do?
So
how do we remind ourselves to come back to here?
Yes. And this is only one way to do things. And of course, I'm always going to recommend journaling because that totally helped me. And even though like at least you don't stick with necessarily writing a journal, there's like alternative ways to do that. But a sacred space decor doesn't have to be as fancy as it might sound. It can be literally anything. You can choose pieces that already represent something. You can set out to find or have things made. And some of it can be super random. That doesn't mean anything to anyone but you. And I'm going to go through a couple examples, and then I'm going to show a prompt from the journal that's really helpful with setting a specific type of intention for, shifting your triggers into the decor. So one of the things that I mentioned was that your decor can already have meaning. And the best example I have of that is like crystals or stones, gemstones. And like the one example I have from the August Moonlit Living subscription box, I put, there's 3 crystals in there, and tiger's eye is one of them. In just like a general thing, tiger's eye is for protection and for releasing fear. So I've had this set out, and I set the intention in it that I was using it to release the fear of like shame and embarrassment. And that's specifically for these videos. Like the first live that we did, I was worried about being embarrassed and like ashamed of I don't know what, but that's just how I felt. So now I have this out, and every time I see it, I'll pick it up and go over with myself. I need to release that fear. What have I done to do that? I've already done one live stream. Now I'm doing the second one. So like I'm working towards it. And what do I need to continue doing? I need to continue learning and experiencing things. So, every crystal has something that it represents already. So you can use that to help you figure out what intention you want to set with it. Does anyone else have tiger's eye or have an intention that you would set in to that one to like release a specific fear or a feeling of protection that you would want to remember when you see it or grab it?
Amanda, we miss your voice. What would you set in your tiger's eye? Or what have you set? What intentions have you set? Amanda's going through a big thing tonight too. This is her first live stream. She's facing some fears, and it's so important to remember like fear is normal to feel. When you sit with it, you get to decide, is this a healthy fear, like to step into, to that for growth, or is this something that I should step away from? We don't want to overreact to things, and run away from things that might be for our best, good, or for our growth, or jump into things because we're used to reacting by, running head first into things that scare us. And we end up inviting things into our lives that we don't necessarily want or enjoy, chaos, or, from the impulsiveness. I think we've all been on both sides of that. So, I mean, maybe what's the difference, and how do you decide?
I think the biggest thing is being aware of it. The awareness gives you the opportunity to even just make a decision. So, okay. So then I can move on to the next example then. Like, as I said, there was things that already have kind of an intention with them, but adding your own specificness to it. The next thing is, maybe there's something that you need to work on, so you can have something made for you, or you can set out to find it. This is one that I made. I didn't make it. I had made by the Normandy Avenue shop. And this is actually going in the next Moonlit Living subscription box as the Sacred Space Decor that will be in that box. That is the new moon in Virgo. And the goal of this piece was to inspire the intention of healthy, developed Virgo traits. And if you aren't familiar with typical Virgo characteristics, think about the need for order and routine to give comfort and safety and stability. Now, those are great traits to have as long as you're also able to demonstrate the ability to adapt when the wind blows and messes up your routine. Now, as it says, when the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. So again, that's the intention was put on there. You want to have those Virgo characteristics. Routine is really important. Knowing your core values and your roots is really important, but you also need to know when to be flexible and when not to. So when you look at that, it should trigger the thought of really getting to know yourself and what you stand for and what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. So getting back into that.
Definitely. It triggers me. It definitely does, because I'm an earth sign. Amanda, you're Taurus too, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So earth, automatically, anytime there's roots, trees, I think earth, and then I automatically, I'm much more connected to my body, and I think earth, I automatically go body. And then that I made that meditation, that's the tree and the wind. That's my actual dancing ritual that helps me release from my body. And I usually don't do it that way, but I actually, in that one in particular, when I recorded it to share, I made the intention to plant my feet like roots and sway in the wind. And there's the imagery of trees in a storm. And that's was the whole intention behind it. So obviously that triggers something for me in a good way. That's my favorite ritual. And I do it all the time, daily.
Right. And that is
super powerful for me.
Yeah. But real quick, they can find that, right? If they want to try that meditation.
Yeah. And if I can I'll try to put the link in it. If I can remember, a lot of multitasking going on for now for me. So I'm trying to get there.
We'll get it there.
So respond and be.
Okay, so that's going in the new moon in Virgo box, and Virgo is a mutable earth sign. Mutable signs represent flexibility and openness to life's changes. So again, that intention is right there on there, right in your face. I don't want to go too far into that because it would be a week straight of talking about it. But if anyone wants to go down an astrology rabbit hole, let us know in the comments, because we would definitely put together a workshop for that.
Yeah, we enjoy getting really weird about it. So let us know if you want to get weird too.
Yes, please.
Astrology weird. Astrology weird.
Yeah, astrology weird. Well, we're weird, but that's okay. Anyway, so that block was a specific thing made to remind us, that we need to know who we are at the core, so that when things feel chaotic, we can move forward confidently by making the decisions based on what we really, truly desire. And journaling really helps us learn what those things are. And, it helps you get to know your own personal core values and what your roots are, so that you are planted firmly. So outside sources are not going to knock you down. And it really takes consistency to figure out what those things are. And that takes practice. Again, it's something that's easier said than done. So I really encourage people to journal, get to your core values. And then if the decor thing resonates with you, do that. Set those intentions into a piece of decor.
Never mind. I was going to say something, but never mind.
Okay. But if that sounds interesting to you too, I'm going to have extras of these. So I have the subscription boxes in testing phase right now. The first one went out this month for the August new moon. The next one's going to go out at the end of August, like within the next week or so, for the new moon in Virgo. So if you are interested in getting a copy of the journal and the crystals for that month, the sacred space decor, and the other things that go into the box, if you could leave a comment and let me know, I'll reach out to you with more information on how to become a tester. And then moving on from there, there's one more thing I mentioned about decor that makes sense to only you and no one else, but that's all that it really matters. I brought this to show you. This was a dollar store candle holder that I had, a dollar store Christmas ornament that I pulled out because I was going to decorate for Christmas in July and it didn't happen. For Mother's Day, my sister actually got me flowers and I saved the petals, which ended up being yellow and orange for Leo season. So I made a piece of decor for that. I put the flower petals into the dollar store ornament and topped it off. And I actually keep that downstairs on my mantle and I look at it all the time. And it's just kind of a trigger to remind me of, motherhood. I love my kids, my sister, my family, because it came from her. And also the importance of creativity, just creating something just for the sake of getting that energy out.
And there's no wrong way to, if you're doing anything creative in any capacity, you just can't go wrong. There's nothing you could do expressing yourself that way, even if you're terrible at it. I'm not a dancer. Can we just start there? And I actually I only ever would publish something like that. Well, okay, let's not lie to people. I've embarrassed myself as a personality for 30 whole years, but after that, now this was serious. But this is the most powerful thing to me is to move my body. And what Nikki is talking about as well, this is what I was going to say before, but I forgot about it. This is the importance of having triggers everywhere, at least to me. I'm sort of a maximalist person, but you don't have to have your house filled with things. You just need to have things that are meaningful to you, places that you are going to notice them, or be able to touch them or see them or experience them. Because the thing that we get so caught up with is we're not experiencing, we think that we have to carve out time to take care of ourselves or to connect with ourselves. This isn't going to work. The whole point is moving through life and trusting your own response.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to feel, you have to understand that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need a little space to decide what I need here or what I want from this. You don't have to make every decision right now or just because someone else demands it. And you don't have to apologize for being dynamic, for waxing and waning. There is energy around us all the time that is changing. It mirrors us. We change every day. We feel different every day. We're supposed to. If you didn't, you would be like a robot. You're supposed to feel it, experience it, and move through it. There's energy that comes and helps us to illuminate things. That's what we do at a full moon. You've heard, it must be a full moon when you hear about this crazy. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but that's the thought of it, that it makes people, wild and in a bad way. But that's just that thing again, noticing who we are and experiencing who we are, the extremes. What's wrong with being extreme? But we need to give ourselves a safe place to do it, where we're not hurting other people, our kids, the people that we love, our coworkers, or destroying career opportunities or whatever, because we don't know how to manage ourselves, what we really feel, and we're so busy pushing it down that it explodes.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting back, deciding what you want and saying no and yes from a place of authentic understanding of who you are. Is there, I don't want to cut you off. Are we going to do any more? Are we going to do something with the intention setting of the objects before we move into Amanda's?
Yeah, actually, I think I will pull up. I just want to give an example of one of the journal prompts and show you how journaling helps with setting the intention into something. So I'm going to screen share that real quick so that everyone can see it.
So grab an object, right? Like grab something that is meaningful to you. Like if you have anything around that's meaningful to you in any way for any reason, and let's put some like in real, like let's take our power and believe that we're putting it into this object, that we can anchor ourselves there.
Yeah.
With this object.
It's definitely something that you can come back to as well. Like if you want to really take, like this is a journal prompt that is coming out of the journal. So this is an opportunity to kind of test one of the prompts out and see it. So you might want to come back and actually fill out the journal and then find the right piece of decor to do with it, or you could do it right now or do both.
And I think the whole point is just believe, like you believe that you are powerful and that this takes you back to the moment. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, it can just literally just remind you that you're physically here by holding something. Or, if you're at a different place with it and you believe, in your personal power in that like way and you're ready, give it your go. Is there, are you sharing your screen? Did you?
I'm about to right now.
Okay. I'm just going to watch for it.
Okay. Is it up?
It might have to give it just a second.
Okay.
All right. I'm just waiting for your screen to be ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Okay, so let me know if it is showing up.
You're ready to go.
All right, so the journal prompt, this was for the first quarter moon, which was just a couple of days ago, but we're going to do it now just to show a way of intention setting with a piece of decor. So this phase, it's telling us to take action. Plan for the setbacks that might occur based on your weaknesses, shadows, or outside factors. Journal about how you can move through them due to lessons learned from specific previous experiences. It's time to paint the shadows. The moon appears half illuminated and half dark. We all have a side we might prefer to keep in the dark, but when we put it under the light, we're able to create a plan of action to overcome it. Now, the affirmation to go with this is, I am a problem solver. Some keywords to think about are challenge accepted, let go of fear, and persevere. The question that you would answer to this journal prompt is, how do I stand in my own way, and what is my plan of action to overcome this when I do it? A tip is to think about excuses you tend to make for yourself. Now, I had already given the example about something that I get in my own way is I won't do something because of a fear. So I set the intention in this. So what you are going to want to do is grab your object and put the intention into it of whatever it is that you stand in your own way of. And again, you can come back and actually fill this journal thing out and then find your intention, or you can do it right now. Does anyone have like examples of what they would set as their intention? I don't know who, like, I also can't see if there are people commenting.
I'll go. Well, why don't I go? And then, because I just have my stone right here. So this is actually my full moon. Like I bought this actually for the full moon. So every full moon that I'm like sitting with this and like, holding it and I don't even know what I'm putting in here. So this one honestly just to me really anchors me back to the moment. It reminds me that this is like the, this peak celebration point of this cycle. And it reminds me to hold that, without the specifics though. Again, like, cause I'm not writing it down.
Exactly.
It doesn't necessarily give me the specifics, but I know, I feel it, and I know that it helps to bring me back to my body.
Right.
But Amanda, do you have one?
Well, actually, I've been using this as my grounding / anxiety stone for throughout this. I've been going like this. But no, I've always kind of had this one. I think it's one of my oldest stones. I use it for grounding and focus on
Very nice.
on everything.
Yeah. So I actually want to say, like, so one thing, like, I get in my own way. I would set the intention in this. This didn't really have much intention already set into it other than reminding me, you know, like, I love my family. I can become, like, I will get frustrated with my kids, and it's me reacting, and I'll start yelling. So the intention that I would set in this, like, I get in my own way because I get angry and I yell, whatever. And then it messes up the rest of my day because I feel guilty. So the intention that I would set in this, because the flowers were from Mother's Day. So I would say that the intention is to remind me to stop, breathe, and not react in the way of yelling. So, like, that's one of those things. How do you get in your own way? What can you do about it? Set the intention so that you remember.
I have to go take care of something with my children.
Well, perfect timing. So just remember, don't yell at them. And I made this. So Amanda made some stuff. We could probably jump into that.
I'm going to hold on. Let me put this comment up. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I'm going to go and I will be right back. And then,
hi, I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
Now the only problem is I can't see the comments. So I don't know if you're responding. But Amanda, did you want to, like, maybe start on the things that you wanted to address?
Sure. So basically, to go kind of along the lines of what Nikki was explaining, my mindset is all on business because basically my small business is about helping other small businesses. So I loved, her idea. I think we talked about doing a home thing in the future too.
Yeah.
And I do believe we'll get there. But
I think so too.
Then I was like thinking, and I was like, well, it would be really wonderful to kind of showcase the business side of that, where you can use the same tools as what Nikki had, told you. You can kind of shift it into your business spaces, because I know since the last few years, small businesses, work at home businesses have like expanded so much that you gotta find your own space just to make sure that you're being able to focus basically with your business and stuff like that. I think she's messaging me.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Did everything go?
Just light threats is all. No,
So she did comment. She just messaged me. She said yes, she's responding, and that we're all doing wonderful.
Thank you.
We're super, super grateful for everybody who joins us and shares it. Just being here, we're really, just to add the energy to it. It's really important and meaningful to us. Honestly, I am a little scattered. I'm in charge of comments, so don't judge anybody. I need somebody to do this. Like, compliance for real. So Amanda, are you ready to go? I want to make sure she has a cool video that she sent me to put up there, and I want to make sure that I get that going at the right time for you. Amanda is the founder and creator of Faye Home, which is this alternative, and she described it, perfectly at the beginning, obviously better than I would, but alternative and occult, like marketplace that's just welcoming and open to different types of marketing that other platforms tend to not be so open, to promoting, I guess. They kind of shut it down. So Amanda just went and created a whole space for for people, and so she's the perfect person to talk about. I told you she kind of created this or planted the intention for this concept, especially that came together really beautifully. This, I called it Sanctify Your Sanctuary, but Amanda is going to show us how to build some, to actually put this all together and build a space. Are you ready for your video to go up? Your first one? Okay. This is Amanda made this, and then she sent this video. You guys ready? Back.
So I did forget to record one part of it, but I was like, hey, you know what? I have it on hand, so I'll just go ahead and show you guys. So I forgot to record the silver metallic in the background. But my actual plans is to kind of incorporate some of the decor pieces, and your intentions don't necessarily need to be an object per se. Like Nikki, there's another thing that you can do. And I plan on doing like a that frosted type, like the frosted glass and stuff like that. I plan on doing some patterns or sigils that I want to feel when I look upon this in my house.
Love that. So it's like an extra layer of adding that energy, because you can. This is like actually really perfect, because with journaling, right? It's all about the language that speaks to you. So you need to be writing these intentions or planting these intentions your way, your language. You know what I mean? Your language, your energetic. Like current, I guess, whatever speaks to you. It's very individual and unique. And Amanda and I were just talking about this the other day, getting ready for this. Like, it needs to be your thing. It needs to be your space, something special to you. That's just, just for you, and unapologetic about that. Like, you deserve space in this world because you need it. You need a place to go. You need a place that feels like soothing to you, and to have it all around you rather than just one thing. It just expands from there. So Amanda's gonna talk, teach us a little bit. Are you gonna teach us a little bit about it? Like, I think I would love to know a little bit more about your language, the sigils or anything that you want to share about that. Because I know you're into spell work, and that's just really powerful, personal rituals, but I don't know how personal, like, if you want to share.
No, that's completely understandable, and I feel like that's one of the things that I don't like, is how secretive and how people don't like to express. I love to express what I do. I love sharing those ideas, and the people that I've connected with through the whole Faye Home startup and connections that I keep making, we all like that. We're all collaborating just like this, where we're sharing ideas and everything. So yeah, I completely understand. It's really kind of hard to kind of ask for that kind of information. But as for me, So sigils is actually going to be something new to me. I've never really used them. I learned about them, I researched them, and they were always there in the back of my head. I was like, oh, I really like that, but I never really had the chance to kind of incorporate it. So this will actually be my first piece of doing that.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. So I actually plan on setting up maybe some courses on how to do that and stuff like that. Which will be a little bit later from I gotta get everything else situated first. But with the decor pieces, I want to kind of make it so that people will understand that you can take something else that you might have on hand or you go out and buy and you can change it. If you feel like there's something there but it's not 100%, go ahead and change it. And that's something new for myself too, because I always felt like, oh, I'm doing something wrong by changing what someone else created. And it's not. You're putting your own intention, your own energy into something. And especially if it's going to be in your sacred house and space and stuff, make it yours. You have that right. So that's where that's coming from. And I do plan on having a little bit more information and learning on that stuff, along with
Amanda,
the
can
more.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to say, because you and I talked the other day a little bit about like with the first time we both got like our own space and
Mhm.
what a shift that was. Because I mean, I just never had like my own space that I was completely in control of, that nobody else had a say, like another adult or somebody, you know, that an authority figure that they could tell me to clean it up,
Exactly.
get rid of things or not buy stuff. Like this is my first time having that. And you were telling me about this, you had such a shift the first time, like when you had your own home. And because I experienced that too, but are you comfortable sharing anything about that?
Um, yeah. So basically, it was really hard for me even after I purchased my house. Okay, after I purchased the house, I still did not feel like I could change anything. Like we painted the walls, and put in some new flooring, but I never really put anything up on the walls. I never did any like extra, like make it mine type until probably not even a month ago. And I've been in this house for about 2, 3 years now. So the fact that, growing up, I never had that space. I couldn't decorate. I couldn't put my energy on it because one, we were renting and you can't put anything on the walls that might leave anything, or you can't paint because it's not what they want. And just not having that was probably the one reason why I never felt like I actually belonged in my world. That I didn't belong here, just because I didn't have that thing that was just mine, that space that I could go home and just like, this is mine. This is where I can center. So I was nowhere. So it's taken a long time for me to give myself permission to make that my space, to make my home my home. And I want to help other people feel like they have that. You can make that your space. That's your right. Don't feel like you can't just do something just because someone else is telling you you can't do it. There's ways that you can make it yours, and you should.
And you shouldn't apologize for it. I think but look at where it starts. I'm 100% serious. Like it starts with a rock sometime,
Mm-hmm.
like an actual rock. And a lot of this stuff is frivolous, or people will tell you like you should get rid of things. Get rid of what you want. I mean, your space should be your space. Don't get rid of things that you don't want to get rid of. Don't bring in things you don't want to bring in. I understand that some of us share space, but one little thing, an example, and then I'm gonna let Amanda, she got another part of what she's sharing. But we were talking about like having objects. Nikki has the objects, and having just a small space, like a box or something that you can have for yourself with those objects. It doesn't have to be a whole table, a whole room. I just think eventually it expands, and you start to not take more for yourself, but you give yourself permission, as Amanda said, for more. And you find a place where you belong, because it's, you know what I mean? It's yours. I don't really know. It's hard. I have felt that too, that very, very vividly, and experience very similar, but I can't describe it any better than she did. I won't get more emotion than that. But I just wanted to share that it doesn't have to be a big thing. This is a box that I found that was my grandma's, and it had clip-on earrings in it. And we talked in the last live stream about alchemy boxes. It was an idea that we were gonna, I think eventually we'll build them, just little boxes, like paper ones and stuff, shoe boxes and stuff like that. But to have something like this and to put intention in it, this is a sacred object that I brought tonight, because I was telling Amanda before that what I put inside this box to me shifts the energy of it. So anything I put in here, because I believe it changes, like it changes, but in an energetic, way and form. So you don't have to have a giant space for yourself, but have something for you that nobody's allowed to touch. Like tell your kids no, for you. Okay, sorry, you guys know I have to hop in here.
No, I'm gonna grab myself one. I'm gonna make myself one tomorrow after work. I'm gonna make myself that. That's a wonderful little thing. I'm gonna do it.
A friend sent me the idea, and then this just came together today. I'm so excited about it. But right after Amanda does her thing, her last little bit, we're gonna do our little oracle readings, and they might be a mess, guys, but hey, we're doing our best here. Before Amanda finishes, and we have another little video from her, I just want to ask you that if you're new here, please subscribe if you enjoy this, because we're going to be doing this every month. We also do that exclusive oracle card spread. That's my form of journaling, and I have a whole archive of that. Please like and share this as well, because it helps boost it out to other people. After this, the replays, these workshops will be kind of broken down into like little chapters, so it's easy for you to come back, replay, or share just a certain part of the workshop with other people, or rewatch it later. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let Amanda take it away.
Okay, as I was saying earlier, I wanted to take what Nikki was working on, and I wanted to kind of do a business twist on it, because hello, Faye Home, about supporting all small businesses. So I'm building a lot of small business building materials, products, and stuff like that. And with her decor, I was like, well, let's do a business spin to it. So I actually created a small business space or workspace. If you don't have your own business, it works for working at home too. So if you want to do a slide with that.
Are you ready for the video?
Yes.
I love that line, create your magic.
Thank you.
Really cool videos, guys. I've been seeing your ads come up, and they're really beautiful. I know you enjoy that. And you know what? Like you said, you enjoy it, soothing to you. I got into video editing and stuff as an artistic form too, because I don't feel like it doesn't feel always legitimate, because it's like a silly thing or whatever, but I support it.
No, I just will sit there and just make random stuff when I'm like just bored or wanting to keep my mind from wandering in places it shouldn't wander.
Zumba's addictive too, though.
It is. It really is. But yeah, so actually because of this, I'm actually thinking of doing a workshop type thing to help people, build their workspaces, because if it seems like a really cool little thing. So because of this whole video, I'm actually going to launch a whole workshop off of it. So
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We're really excited. I mean, like, to anchor that in. Is there anything else that you want to cut you off? Is there anything else? Because we're really close, I think. That again. My thing 1,000 times.
Hold on. I have something that I want to say. Amanda just said that she just had this idea, and we talk about, looking 6 months forward and looking 6 months back. I think that would be a really cool thing for you at the new moon to like really think about what that workshop would be, and then look back at the full moon and see like where you're at with it. And I think it'd be cool to like check in with that.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah. And like, the way that this all comes together is like just that clarity of intention, or like having that space to develop clarity without like that reactiveness or someone else's opinion. Give yourself something just for you where you can step back, slow down, and don't apologize if you need a little bit extra room to figure out how you feel or what you want, especially because we tend to react right now and we don't give ourselves time to think of like, what do we want out of this situation long term? When we're placing boundaries, we don't tend to place the best boundaries like when we're really like raw and reactive. We place really harsh boundaries, so it can be really intense. The new moon just before, like 2 weeks ago, I did a whole freaking workshop. I never would have done had we not done the live stream slumber party last month, or like a month ago. I never would have had the guts to do it. But off of that, ended up doing a 5-day live stream in our Facebook group, which is the Secret Society of Self-Care. And everything is like all the links to Nikki's stuff, to Amanda's, and mine will be all in the description below eventually. Soon. I'm going to try my best to get all that up there. But I just want to let you know that we have, like, Amanda's got a new workshop coming out eventually. But that's going to be manifesting for her very soon. I just did this new moon workshop. It's about like really clarifying those intentions, which is apparently something that I manifested. And I should probably look back at what I was doing 6 months ago and what I wanted, because I have no idea. So it's really interesting to see when you align yourself and you come back to the present and you have clear intentions at the new moon, which is in 2 weeks. So remember, guys, like, it's never too late to clarify this for yourself. This isn't like, oh, I missed it. I missed the full moon. Got to wait till next time, This energy is always moving. You're always waxing and waning. It's always growing and dissolving. Things are always changing. So be here now. Let this full moon illuminate what's going on in your life. If you're satisfied, what do you want? And then take that, into this next phase. Get clear about what you want. Like, are you happy with it? You want to continue down that road, double down, or do you want to shift directions? That's what we're doing right now. This is like, we're moving into, this Virgo energy too. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're clarifying. We're going to start to get serious about what we're planting right now, so we can have these big, strong roots and grow things that we really want, rather than getting 6 months down the road and being just as dissatisfied, as we were 6 months ago. It doesn't change. You have to plant your intention clearly and shift it. And you can do it. without doing that. But it's a rockier road. It's just a rough journey, you know, because you don't have that clarity of tracking it as you go along. So this is it. We're at the end, and we're going to do our Oracle cards for humanity readings. This is like a trial run, guys. So don't count on us. We are doing our best. If you want one, please comment now, because only the people who are here are getting them, and us, we're getting them too. So sorry, it's happening. But kind of first come, first serve, whoever's hanging out, we're gonna start doing that. Does anybody need a second, like a drink or anything before we?
I'm good.
Okay. Me. Rachel says me.
Okay. So how this is working is I am going to pull a card from the actual Cards Against Humanity deck. And then that's going to be like your question that you're asking. And then Elise will then pull the
I have this Mindful Messages deck. We tried it with a different deck that was like a sillier one, and it was it was tripping me up pretty bad. But so what we're going to do is she's going to read it. It's going to be a little bit silly. Like, we're doing our best. All right. But then I'm going to read like the actual, like, you know, meaningful message as well, just so you get that too.
Right.
So we got 2 so far, Rachel and Sierra.
Okay. We're going to start with
just go. We'll do Rachel first, just because I'm already shuffling.
What never fails to liven up the party?
Oh. Playfulness. I don't know, that's not very funny, but it works out, doesn't it? Okay, so it says, I go about life playfully and take things lightly. I can turn any hard day or heavy burden into a fun adventure. Why spend time upset when there's so much fun to be had? It's actually a really nice message.
Yeah.
That's not that funny, but it was like sweet.
Yeah. So Rachel can go liven up the party.
If you want to hang around, we can always probably do another one if you want another one. Sierra's been hanging out for this.
Awesome. Hi. What's my anti-drug? So what is Sierra's anti-drug?
Should want one. Oh, loving friends. These aren't even funny. They're really sweet. I surround myself with people who inspire me and grow together with me. Oh, that's why you're here. This is
and that's like the perfect anti-drug.
It's fun. It's me being fun, right? My friends raise me up and hold me to the best that I can be. I am loved unconditionally and supported throughout my journey. I release old friendships, which may be toxic or keeping me stagnant. Sierra. Oh, Rachel needed it. See, guys, we're doing it. It's working.
How fun.
Yay.
Oh, I got one just flew out. Who is that for? Who wants it? One literally just flew across the room, and I got
All right, that one's Amanda's. All right, let's see what Amanda's question is. What is there a ton of in heaven?
The present moment.
This present moment is heaven. It is heaven on earth.
I did say. So I'm trying to okay. It says, this is Amanda's, right? It says, in this present moment, I have nothing to worry about. I take life step by step as I follow my desires and intuition, joyfully overcoming any bumps along the way. When I live like this, I don't have to worry about the future. It's okay. Your future's already planned out. You got a workshop.
Right?
That was awesome, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, these are sweet. I was like, oh, they're like really sweet. War Maiden. Ready?
Ready. In 1,000 years, when paper money is a distant memory, how will we pay for goods and services?
Releasing anger. That sounds about right.
Right?
Anger is a natural emotion, but I recognize that holding on to it can be toxic for me. I look at the person who has caused me pain and I see them to be to be the human being they are. I release the anger I feel and free myself, freeing myself and expanding to love. She's like, I feel like this is great. Especially referring to the name War Maiden and releasing anger. I feel like that's a pretty wild message. Especially this is currency. So
Wow.
wild. Love it. Love it. All right. Who's next? That's amazing. Is it? I know these are like turning out to be really meaningful.
We thought this was
I know they're
gonna
gonna be meaningful, but like, holy cow, they're not. This is working out pretty well, but it's not funny. It's
Yeah.
just, we're all gonna be crying in a second.
Okay, it's that part of the slumber party. So
True. True. It is the
Right.
end of the slumber party, right? We are just finishing up.
All right, do we have any more?
While we're finishing up, I do want to say, please make sure my website again will be down below, Nikki's and Amanda's, and visit. We all offer different things that like bring all this together. We want you to find what's right for you, like your rhythm, your ritual, your thing, and we want to support that, for you. We want you to find ways to do that for yourself. So we're building different tools, all of us individually and together in strategic alliances, for ourselves, but also for you. So
Yeah.
like we would have helped us up front. How can we bring it together and then bring it out to you? And I'm speaking to a certain audience, Nikki's speaking to different, Amanda's speaking to different, like we want this to be kind of universal because we're all at different places all the time.
Right. And with that being said, also if you have something to share too, like maybe you have a routine or a ritual that works for you that you would like to share and be a part of. Oh,
naughty. Let's do it. Go ahead. You ready?
What will I bring back? Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Are we good? Okay. What will I bring back in time to convince people that I am a powerful wizard?
Morning rituals.
Okay.
There you go, wizard. It says, in the morning, I will take time to tune into myself, to set high vibrational rituals that will help me lead a good day. I pay attention to the morning habits that don't serve me and change them for ones that do. I think Amanda's going to like that a lot. Who is next? Is it Nikki? Is it you? Is it your turn?
Sure. I'll take a turn.
Your turn. My turn. Whose turn?
Do you want to go first or me? Who's going?
Here. You.
All right. Well,
We
me
got
first.
one already out. Whose is it? Yours or mine?
Me.
Everybody's happy.
That completely works. Great. Okay. We have what's a girl's best friend?
Mm-mm.
Mine.
Your emotional guidance system.
That's so true.
It is true. It is true, actually. It says, I love using my emotions as a guidance system. They show me how close or far away I am from what I want. When I'm feeling joy and doing the things I love, I am in a state of allowing for my desires. And I notice when I'm feeling low vibrational thoughts and shift them to release resistance.
So should I start crying now?
Yeah. I don't know which one of this was meant for. Like, I actually do love this. I don't even need this affirmation. All right, is it my turn? Is anybody else? Last call for your Oracle that'll make you cry, apparently. That was supposed to be. But I think they're actually coming together really nice. I think it's my turn unless somebody else pops up. So this one's mine.
All right. You have. Why can't I sleep at night?
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm scared. And the whole deck just like fell apart. Oh, we got one more at the end. Why can't I sleep at night? This is mine. Infinite creativity.
Well, yes.
Well, shit. Okay. At any moment, I am able to tap into an infinite source of energy and creativity within me. Unique ideas flow through, each one capable of blossoming into beautiful creations. And Nikki gets all these messages in the middle of the night, so she knows this. All right, we're putting up one for Glenn. We're doing one for Glenn.
All right, let's see. What's my secret power?
Oh, all right. Nurture.
That's a good one.
Is Glenn a nurturer? Because it's his secret power. If not, maybe if it is, I don't know. It's okay to want to stay home and be alone. I deserve days to myself, days to relax and simply be. I honor how I feel and take this day to do the things that feel nurturing to me. Oh, damn. I like that.
So good.
That's one to finish it up. That's
Right?
I think, and we're still here if anybody wants one in the final moments. But if not, we are so grateful that you have been here sharing this space with us. Again, these workshops will be timestamped. But there'll be chapters. And see, look at, we are spot on tonight. This worked really well. We're gonna have to expand this
Yeah.
a little bit for next time. So we're definitely gonna do this again. This was fun. This turned out better because we were nervous about it.
We were, but we were gonna do it anyway.
We were gonna roll with it. But thank you for being here. The workshops are available for replay. And then again, obviously we're expanding on them. We have different things at each of our websites, different workshops and stuff that are expanding on this, as well as on this channel. There are free guided meditations, and the oracle spreads, the archives. We're here doing different things all the time. Join us in the Secret Society of Self-Care and Moonlit Magic Self-Care Rituals on Facebook. Please like this video and subscribe before you leave. Anything else? We did it. We did it. I think we're done. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're so grateful. If you want to, again, continue the party. Oh, not that one. This one. Sorry. The Facebook group, let's discuss. And next time, come on and we can answer specific questions and stuff for you. Or you give us feedback about what you want to know next time we come. Thank you so much for being here. And watch for the oracle spread for this Aquarius full moon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.